Hey everybody, hope you're doing all right. All right, so this week, first off, we're not meeting for lab because Veterans Day is Wednesday. I think I got my days confused when we met last week in lab. I might have said Monday, so just to be clear, Veterans Day is Wednesday. The college will be closed, so since Group B wouldn't be able to meet on that day, we're just not having any labs at all. But you do have two lectures to watch. I know that might sound like a lot. Chapter 11 is a normal length lecture. I think it's about 2 hours, so give yourself plenty of time. But chapter 12 is a little bit shorter, so it's not terrible. And again, you're not meeting for a lab this week, so you'll save time, driving to campus and waiting in the temperature check line and all that. Just make sure you watch these. Make sure you're paying attention when you watch them. I know, like I'm guilty of that too, doing work and having like the TV on and all this other stuff. Make sure you're really paying attention, especially in these two chapters. All right. You've got the lecture videos, so watch those. Excuse me. Take notes using the PowerPoint handouts and all that. And like always, if you have any questions when you're watching that, if something doesn't completely make sense, send me a message and let me know, and I'll try to reword it or help you understand a little bit better. The review quiz for those two chapters is going to be Sunday, November 15th. So just make sure you watch the lectures and then take the review quiz by then. So that's it for this week, but let's talk about next week because there's a couple really important things that we're going to do next week. First off, we're going to have our last lab meeting. I didn't put that in the announcement, but next week is going to be our last lab. Make sure you're here because we're going to, number one, you've got a lab activity that's due. Number two, we're going to do a lab review for the lab final that's going to be after Thanksgiving break. And then number three, this is probably the biggest one. I'm going to go through again and make sure you understand what we have to do. Even though we are not meeting in person anymore after Thanksgiving break, you have some very important coursework that you need to do. You've still got review quizzes and lectures, and you've got your final and the lab final. So I want to go through all of that and make sure no one has any questions about what we're going to do after Thanksgiving break. All right? Exam 4 is going to be next Thursday and Friday, so November 19th and 20th. And you can see that information. It's going to be on chapters 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that's the cell cycle, mitosis, genetics. Meiosis is chapter 10. Genetics is 11. And then that molecular biology of the gene, which is really just talking about DNA, is chapter 12. All right. And then the last thing in the announcement is that next Friday is the last day to withdraw from any of your fall classes. So definitely for mine, but probably a good idea for all of your classes, check your average. Like go ahead right now, get on Blackboard, look at my grades, check your average and see how you're doing in the class. And if your grade is lower than it needs to be, reach out to me. I'm sure your other instructors want you to reach out to them too. And let's try to figure out what is it going to take for you to finish with a passing grade if you're not passing right now. Or let's say you have to have like a C or a B. Figure out what it's going to take for you to finish with that grade so you've got a good idea of what you need to do and what you need to be shooting for. All right? After that date, you can't withdraw from any classes. So just make sure that you get any questions you have. Make sure you get those answered now because after then it's going to be too late. All right. If you need any help, if you have any questions, let me know and I'll be glad to help. Thanks.